Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Okay. So, welcome everybody. Today we are going to be starting again the reading of Sriman Bhagavatam. We'll start again from the introduction, and it's a pretty long introduction. So, we'll try and cover as much as we can. We'll go word by word, paragraph by paragraph, so that we can cover the essence. Because Prabhupada ji, even in the introduction, has given the entire essence of the Gita. So if you just listen and understand the introduction, we'll have a good idea of what the Gita is actually trying to tell us. Okay? So if everyone has got the Gita, if you're not, you can get a Gita from the cupboards there. Okay. So if everyone is on the introduction, you will see that it starts off with some prayers. And this is very important. Prayers are very important because we are not at all qualified to understand this transcendental subject matter ourselves. We are requesting and praying and begging for the mercy of spiritual giants that have come in our tradition to bless us to be able to understand this great wisdom. Okay? So let us start. You can repeat after me. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Okay. Just let's read the purport for that stanza. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Very important. It just shows that what does it mean that we are born in darkest ignorance? There's nobody in this world who is born genius. Everyone has to learn everything in life from birth. No one is born knowing the entire alphabet. No one is born knowing anything. Yes? Everyone is born in darkness or in ignorance. And gradually they become more and more educated, they become more and more knowledgeable. And what is the medium through which we become knowledgeable in life? Not only spiritual, just normal knowledge. We need to get educated. We need teachers. We need people to teach us. And the same is true for spiritual life as well. Now, the difference is in spiritual life, the spiritual master makes us understand who we are, why we are here, and what is our end goal. They give us the direction of life. While material education makes us earn a living, spiritual knowledge makes a life worth living. Okay? So that's the first answer. Then Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam. Please repeat after me. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dati Swapadantikam. Okay, the translation. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? So it's a very important point to note that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a combined incarnation of Radha and Krishna. So he is Krishna himself come in the mood of Radharani. And he wanted to inculcate the entire world in delivering them from this darkest ignorance. And the only way to do this is to spread the Sankirtan. Yeah, the Sankirtan Yagna. And he had very, very prominent disciples, out of which the first one was Rupa Goswami. And this entire ISKCON, they are followers of Rupa Goswami. And that is why we are also known as Rupa Nuga. Anuga means to follow. And who are we following? Rupa. So that's why it's known as Rupa Anuga, follow the devotees. That we follow the instructions written by Srila Rupa Goswami. That is why even one of the biggest, the most important text that we follow as well is called as Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and that was also compiled by Srila Rupa Goswami. Okay, he was denoted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as being the Rasa Acharya. He is the one who knows the tattva of rasa. He is the one who knows in truth the mellows that are there in devotion. So that is why in the introduction we are also asking for his blessings to be able to get shelter at his lotus feet, for him to accept us into understanding that rasa that he has experienced and that he knows, and that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu blessed him with. Okay? Then Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaisnavascha. Anyone just repeat after me? Vandeham Shri Guru
Vandeham Shri Guru
Shri Yuta Padakamalam
Shri Yuta Padakamalam
Shri Gurun Vaisnavamscha.
Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha.
Okay, let's read the translation for that. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and unto the feet of all Vaishnavas. And this is very important. You'll see this theme being repeated constantly, because in spiritual life we are never self-made. We are carried by the mercy of our seniors. We are carried by the mercy of our great acharyas. Without them, we will not be able to understand anything. Just like if there was a very big wall. There's a big wall and there's a small child. The child wants to see what is beyond the wall. So he cannot look up. If he looks up, there's still the bricks. He can't see what is beyond. So what does he do? He goes to the father. Father, please pick me up. And so the father picks him up, puts him on the shoulders, and then he can see what is beyond. Yeah? So this is what we are. We are like very small, very immature, very baby spiritualists. And we don't know what is beyond. So if we want to try and see what is beyond this material world, to see into the spiritual world, to gain access to that, we need figures like our father, spiritual father, which are the spiritual masters and the great acharyas, to be able to pick us up out of their causeless mercy. Because we cannot do anything on ourselves. We need the mercy of gurus and the spiritual masters. Okay? Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam. Okay. Yeah, next, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami along with his elder brother Sanatan Goswami, as well as Raghunath Das and Raghunath Bhatta, Gopala Bhatta and Srila Jiva Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda along with Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar, Srivas and other associates. So you see it's going up, up, up. So first you start with the 6 Goswamis and now you're going to the Pancha Tattva, right? Then Sri Radha Krishna Padan. Repeat. Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. Okay. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna along with their associates Sri Lalita and Vishaka. So you see this hierarchy that is happening here, that if we want to even have that aspiration to be able to associate with Krishna, which is definitely not our qualification to do that. The only way we can get qualification is if we become servants of the servants of the servants of the servants and on and on and on of Krishna. And who is the servant and the servant and the servant and the servant? It's this, the spiritual master. Okay? We cannot approach Krishna directly. We have to approach him through his most dear associates. And his dear associates are Radharani. Radharani's dear associates are the gopis. And the gopis, if you look at our lineage, all the acharyas, they are all incarnations of manjaris, and manjaris are the servants of the gopis. And so the bhava that the Gaudiya Vaishnavism is all about, it is in one particular rasa known as Madhurya rasa, which is known as the highest type of rasa. The highest type of love that you can have with Krishna is through Madhurya rasa. And it will come later on in the introduction. Okay? Now we give our obeisances to Krishna, Lord Shri Krishna, to Srimati Radharani, to the Vaishnavas, and then to the Panchatattva. Okay? Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate. Repeat.
Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate.
Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute.
Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute.
Again, translation. Oh my dear Krishna, you are the friend of the distressed and the source of creation. You are the master of the gopis and the lover of Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Okay. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya. I offer my respects to Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold and who is a queen of Vrindavan. You are the daughter of King Rishabhanu and you are very dear to Lord Krishna. Vancha kalpa durupyascha
Vancha kalpa darupyascha
kripa sindhubhya evacha
Kripa sindhubhya evacha
patita nam pavanebhyo
Patitanam pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill the desires of everyone just like desire trees, and they are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda
Prabhu Nityananda
Shri Advaita Gadara
Shri Advaita Gadadhara
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda.
I offer my obeisances to Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadara, Srivas, and all others in the line of devotion. Hare, together now. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so let's just start the introduction now. Bhagavad Gita is also known as Gita-Upanishad. So, what does Gita-Upanishad, what does Upanishad mean? Upanishad is made up of the word Upanishad. Upa means close and Nishad means to instruct. So, Upanishad means giving instruction to a person close to you. Like a master to a student. So this is what an Upanishad means. Just like we have Ekadashi Upavas. Ekadashi Upavas means what? Ekadash. Eka means 1, Dash means 10, so Ekadashi 11. And Ekadashi Upavas. Upa means to bring closer and Vas means to stay. So when we say Ekadashi Upavas, it means that we are taking 11 somethings. What is that something? Our 11 senses. Our mind, then our 5 knowledge acquiring senses, and our 5, which are those? Working senses. We are taking all these 11 senses And on the day of Ekadashi, we are trying to employ all our 11 senses so much so that we get absorbed in putting our consciousness at the feet of Lord Krishna. That is the real meaning of Ekadashi Upavas. Not that you take some fasting and all that. Why do we fast? Because it allows us to free up time to be able to utilize that extra time to do more spiritual activities, to keep our consciousness closer at the feet of Lord Krishna. So that is the reason of Ekadashi Upavas. Okay? So again, that is the word of Upanishad. It is the essence of Vedic knowledge and one of the most important Upanishads in Vedic literature. Of course, there are many commentaries in English on the Bhagavad Gita, and one may question the necessity for another one. Yeah, we have got so many different commentaries, but not all commentaries are authentic. Your spiritual knowledge is not like material knowledge; it is completely different. For material knowledge, you can even have another person just repeat of facts, and that will still be qualified as material knowledge. But spiritual knowledge doesn't work like that. Spiritual knowledge is subtle. It is beyond matter. Yes? It requires the person speaking it to be a person who has realized the knowledge. Yeah? In material life, they look at the caliber of the person. But in spiritual life, you look at the character of the person. That character is what's more important than the caliber. You can write very beautiful commentaries, but if you have not realized that the knowledge, those commentaries are worth nil. And you can write a commentary in simple English, but if you have realized this knowledge and you're coming from a line of spiritual teachers who have shown you this knowledge, then even if your language is very simple, it is still worth, it's priceless in a way, it's priceless because it is revealing the actual purpose of the messages of the Gita. Okay? This present edition can be explained in the following way. Recently, an American lady asked me to recommend an English translation of Bhagavad Gita. Of course, in America, there are so many editions of Bhagavad Gita available in English, but as far as I have seen, not only in America, but also in India, none of them can be strictly said to be authoritative, because in almost every one of them, the commentator has expressed his own opinions without touching the spirit of Bhagavad Gita as it is. And this is a very important observation. So, I normally give this example is, say you've got a science textbook, and the science textbook describes that there is an experiment, there is a hypothesis, there is the actual experiment, and then there is a result and observation. Now, when you follow that textbook, and you see that the result matches what was written, which will happen in the beginning of the experiment, then you can say that, yes, I have understood and I have followed the procedures perfectly that have been written in this book. And so this book is giving you good knowledge, it's giving you true knowledge. Similarly, if you really want to understand the Gita, you have to understand it by what was the effect it had on its first person who heard it. If you want to repeat the experiment of understanding the Gita, you must have got to the same conclusion that the first person who heard the Gita reached. Then only can you be for certain that I have understood the Gita in the right way. So many people have written commentaries, and if you look at their life, it doesn't show that they are living according to the principles of the Gita. In the entire Gita, only one thing is being focused on, and that is to surrender to Krishna. 1866. That is the conclusion. And after hearing the entire Gita, Arjuna said, yes, I am surrendering to you now. I am becoming your devotee. So, from this we can understand that the conclusion of the Gita is that after reading the Gita or after understanding the Gita in its right spirit, you should become a devotee of Krishna. And if a person who is not a devotee of Krishna is writing a commentary on the Gita, first of all, he has not understood the Gita, so how can he explain it? If a person has not understood the subject matter, the essence of the subject matter, how can they explain it perfectly to another person? That is why the most authentic Gita is the one that is written by a devotee of Krishna. So Prabhupada has written one, yes. But even before Prabhupada has written it, all the great acharyas of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, they have each got a commentary of the Gita, and each, even though the examples might be different, even the way they've explained might be different, but again, the spirit, the essence of the message is consistent. Yeah, as I previously mentioned, that there was a Sanskrit scholar, and he was familiar with the works of Madhvacharya. And between Madhvacharya and Srila Prabhupada, there's a difference of nearly 800 years. And yet, the essence, the conclusion was the same in the purports of Madhvacharya and in the purports of Srila Prabhupada. So you can see that even though time, place and circumstance will give rise to different commentaries, but the essence will remain the same. Okay? The spirit of Bhagavad Gita is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita itself. It is just like this. If we want to take a particular medicine, then we have to follow the directions written on the label. We cannot take the medicine according to our own whim or the direction of a friend. It must be taken according to the directions on the label or the directions given by a physician. And this is so true. In every field of life, we consult an expert in the field. If we want to know the right advice in anything, we'll go to the right person qualified to give us that advice. You will not go to an architect to get advice on a law problem. No, you go to a lawyer. If you want to get advice on a medical problem, you're not going to go ask an engineer. You're going to go and ask a doctor. Yeah? You have to go to the expert of that field for you to be able to get the right messaging, the right understanding. So many people say that, and this is unfortunately a widespread thing that happens in our Indian culture household, is that I've heard the Gita. My father, my grandfather, my grandmother, they have taught me Gita. What is there today? The question is, are they experts in the Gita? Have they understood the meaning of the Gita? Have they understood the essence of the Gita? That you've just taken their words as being final. No, if you're not going to do this in any other part of your life, then why are you doing it in spiritual circles? Why are you doing it in the spiritual area of your life? If you really want spiritual knowledge, you have to go to the right source. As Prabhupada writes here, that if you're sick, you have to follow the directions of the physician. You don't just take how you please. You don't take even according to your friend. Yeah? If the friend is a doctor, okay, good. But if your friend is not a doctor, then how is he going to help you? He's not going to help you. So it's very important that we learn the Gita from the right source. Yeah? And understand it under direction. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita should be taken or accepted as it is directed by the speaker himself. The speaker of Bhagavad Gita is Lord Shri Krishna. He is mentioned on every page of Bhagavad Gita as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. Of course, the word Bhagavan sometimes refers to any powerful person or any powerful demigod. And certainly here, Bhagavan designates Lord Krishna as a great personality. But at the same time, we should know that Lord Shri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as is confirmed by all great acharyas, spiritual masters, like Sankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Nimbarka Swami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and many other authorities of Vedic knowledge in India. The Lord Himself also establishes Himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the Bhagavad Gita. And He is accepted as such in the Brahma Samhita and all the Puranas, especially in the Srimad Bhagavatam known as the Bhagavad Purana. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So look, now if a person thinks that he is such an erudite scholar and thinks that he can understand everything by himself, this purport just shows that very many great scholars of India and Vedic times, they've all reached the same conclusion. So on the basis of that authority, you can humble yourself and say that, okay, these people were scholars in the Sanskrit language. Are we scholars in Sanskrit? No. These guys were perfect in their spiritual practices. Are we? No. So we take the humble position and take it on authority that the people who have really studied this, people who have actually understood the messaging of the Gita, they have all come to the same conclusion, and if we read something and come to something else, then it is our pride, it's our ego to think that we are knowledgeable, more knowledgeable than these people and these eminent leaders. Yeah, it is much more humble to accept that maybe we are wrong here in thinking that the way we understand the Gita is the right way. No, we have to always look at what the previous acharyas have taken. Yeah, it's just like going on a path. And this path, you're coming to a point where there are two possibilities. One is a path that is fully ready, and you can see that there's so many footprints that have taken this path. And there's another path which is completely full of shrubs and bushes and all that. Now, which one will you go take? Will you take the safer way, which is the one that's already been traveled, and this path is already leading to Krishna, because this is a path that's already been done by the previous acharyas? Or will you try and invent your own new paths? Which is more safer? It's always more safer to go the path which has already been traversed by the great spiritual masters already. So this is what we need to do. Okay? Therefore, we should take Bhagavad Gita as it is directed by the personality of Godhead Himself. In the 4th chapter of the Gita, the Lord says, Imam Vishvate Yogam Proktavanaham Avyayam Vivashwan Manvar Manave Praha Manul Ikshvake Pravet Evam Parampara Praptam Imam Raja Rishayo Vidu Sakalena Mahata Yogo Nashta Parantapa Sa eva yam mayatedya yoga prokta pura tanaha bhaktosmi me sakacheti rahasyam hi atid etan uttamam. Here the Lord informs Arjuna that this system of yoga, the Bhagavad Gita, was first spoken to the sun god, and the sun god explained it to Manu, and Manu explained it to Ikshvaku. And in that way, by disciplic succession, one speaker after another, this yoga system has been coming down, but in the course of time it has become lost. Consequently, the Lord has to speak it again, this time to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Wow. So this knowledge of the Gita is not only 5,000 years old. It is timeless. It has been coming, and as Krishna says that I gave the same knowledge to the sun god. And Prabhupada writes in the purpose that this was approximately 120 years ago. So this knowledge, 120 million years ago. So you can imagine how timeless this knowledge is. It has stood the test of time. So we can take this as faith that no, what this knowledge is actually timeless. It has been true in all times, places, and circumstances, and it is going to remain true in all times, places, and circumstances in the future. And the reason is very simple. It's because it goes beyond all the superficial layers of our life. It goes beyond body. It goes beyond nationalism. It goes beyond racism. It goes beyond even not nationalism, but religions. It goes beyond even humanity, because it expands the worldview by incorporating that all living entities are the same, not only human beings. So this knowledge is not just skin deep, it is soul deep. And this has always been the case. And so because it is opening up the layers of reality to its very core, this message is already perfect. There is no additions required. And if you subtract it, what is the result? That the messaging gets lost. Yeah, what does it mean it gets lost? It gets lost in the way that the meaning of that shloks and the meaning of the essence of the Gita's message has become convoluted. It has been exploited. It has been utilized for a wrong purpose, and so that is what it means that the knowledge has been lost. Knowledge being lost means the essence of the knowledge has been lost. Okay. Here, where are we?
He tells Arjuna.
Yeah. He tells Arjuna that he is relating the supreme secret to him because Arjuna is his devotee and his friend. The purport of this is that Bhagavad Gita is a treatise which is especially meant for the devotee of the Lord. Very important. No one else can understand the secret of the Bhagavad Gita, because until and unless you become even a bit humble and ready to accept that there is somebody out there who is better than you, who is a person who is superior than you, till that time you will not be able to understand any words that are coming out from that person's mouth. Yeah? As they say, that you are only ready to listen to somebody once you are 100% convinced that you are not going to be able to get the answer. There has to come this spirit that I am out of my depth. I don't know what I am doing. I need guidance. Until a person reaches that level of desperation, he will not be ready to listen to any advice, be it material or even be it in spiritual. And this is a very observable phenomenon. You might have experienced this as well. That if you are feeling that and you have gone to somebody seeking advice, then at that point of desperation you'll be ready to hear. Or if somebody is coming with that desperation to you for advice, and when you say something, that person will take it on board. Till that time, no one will take up that advice, right? So we have to at least accept that we are not perfect, that we need help. Until and unless that point comes, until and unless we are not envious, till that time the knowledge is there, the words are there. You come to classes, you hear everything, but nothing will register. Nothing will register. It will only register when you have a submissive attitude. And this is as true in the material sphere as it is in the spiritual sphere. Okay? There are three classes of transcendentalists, namely the Jnani, the Yogi and the Bhakta, or the impersonalist, the meditator and the devotee. Here the Lord clearly tells Arjuna that he is making him the first receiver of a new parampara, because the old succession was broken. It was the Lord's wish. Therefore, to establish another parampara in the same line of thought. Very important, same line of thought, in the same essence, with the same understanding of essence. Yeah? That was coming down from the sun god to others, and it was his wish that his teaching be distributed anew by Arjuna. He wanted Arjuna to become the authority in understanding the Bhagavad Gita. So we see that Bhagavad Gita is instructed to Arjuna especially because Arjuna was a devotee of the Lord, a direct student of Krishna and his intimate friend. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita is best understood by a person who has qualities similar to Arjuna. That is to say, he must be a devotee in a direct relationship with the Lord. As soon as one becomes a devotee of the Lord, he also has a direct relationship with the Lord. This is a very elaborate subject matter, but briefly it can be stated that a devotee is in a relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in one of 5 ways. One may be a devotee in passive state, one may be a devotee in an active state, one may be a devotee as a friend, one may be a devotee as a parent, and one may be a devotee as a conjugal lover. So these are the 5 different types of rasa that one can have with Krishna. One can be related to Krishna as just in a passive state, in a state of awe and reverence. That he's a master and I just have to serve him, and not even that is actually active state. But in a passive state, it's like you just want to stay stunned and and just wait for Krishna to bless you. Just like how in Vrindavan, in Golok Vrindavan, we have the different inanimate objects, supposed inanimate objects, but actually very conscious beings. So like trees, rocks, they are all serving Krishna in a passive state. Then there is one who may be a devotee in an active state. So they are conscious beings having personal forms, and they are serving Krishna as a servant. Then there is one who may be a devotee as a friend, like all the Gopa Sakas. Then there is devotee as a parent, like Nanda Baba, Yashoda Mai, all these in parenthood, Vatsalya Ras. And then there's one may be a devotee as a conjugal lover, like the gopis, like Srimati Radharani, all the gopis, all the mancharis. They are all in the mood of conjugal lover. Yeah, this is quite a deep subject. So we'll stop here. If anyone has any questions, any comments. Yeah. So I think from tomorrow we'll start again on this point, and we'll continue forward. Okay. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.